Boom. Working. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Sweet. All right. Yo.
Hello. Hello.
Let's see. All right. Okay. Hmm. Listen to some good ones this week. Obviously, Zoe was live yesterday. That was pretty good. Listen to this other guy sometimes, Pastor Stephen Furtick. He's a pretty good one. He's got some really good messages. But I listened to one he did, and it was about being in. I think he titled like "Are You in Control?" And you were like "RUN," like run. And it was very interesting. I think what's very relevant at the moment, I think, with a lot of people's life. What are we in control of? Yo, what's up, Lily? Almost there. Hey. All right. We're at the beach? Look, you're at the beach.
Is it just you and I today or what?
Huh? Can you see everybody else or not?
Swipe left. Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hello. How's everybody doing?
Excellent. The golf today. It was a beautiful day.
I'm in Mexico today. I'm in Guadalajara.
Nice.
Had to come down for some family stuff, but a little bit of fun too.
That's good.
You look happy. I saw you on Facebook looking pretty good.
Yeah, we hit up a few places. Stay tuned for some more stuff.
Stay tuned. Follow me.
Follow me too.
Yeah, I was just talking about how. Here's Portia here. Just talking about how I was listening to some messages over this past week, and some came up and triggered. A couple. I saw this other pastor, Steve Torek, that does this thing. He was talking about RUN control, like spell that R, like run. Where are we running from? Well, are you in control? And what it means to be in control of our own lives, but our decisions, And what I found was he has some really good analogies I'll share with you guys, but I was thinking about what it is to have control of your life, what it is to have control, period, or what we expect for ourselves, and what are we actually doing to take control of, like the situations we want to be better. What are we actually doing? Are we just speaking about it? Are we telling our friends and family that, that's my intention, I want to do this, this is what I want for myself, or I see my life going towards, but what are we actually doing to take control? And I think one of the brilliant things I heard him say was, we got to stop with all the answers and look more at asking better questions, instead of looking for the answers, but ask better questions. And what are the questions that we're asking ourselves every day? Are they relevant to getting to our goal, or are we taking control of the responsibility it takes to do or get or achieve what we want in life? And being honest about it, are we actually, right? Like, there's a ton of stuff we all probably do every day that is not, in line with our bigger picture version of ourselves. And that's why we're imperfect people, right? If it matched up every day with what exactly we wanted for ourselves, life would be no fun. What would life be? There would be no battles, there would be no scars, there would be no ups and downs, there would be no arguments, discussions, there would be nothing. It'd be flatline, it'd be plain, it'd be vanilla. I think we're selfish in the way a lot of times that we don't want to have the downs, or we want to go through. I don't want to. I just want what I want. And sometimes we're not even willing to do everything it takes to get what we want. And to me, maybe just what I'm seeing, my eyes are open to current season right now, but I'm seeing more and more people in this space of just saying a lot, but not getting a lot done. Saying a lot, but not doing any actionables, not taking actual control of their life and taking the responsibility it takes to do some of the things that, they say they want to do all the time. I want to be this, I want to do that, a job, I'm going to get married someday, all these things. I just want to be happy and my family healthy. But what are we doing actionably to get these things done? And another thing he said I thought was very interesting about God was that, God has control, right? We allow that, like the higher being has control of this whole thing going on, but he doesn't always take control, right? He has control, but he doesn't always take control. And there's a purpose for that. He's not gonna limit the amount of Instagram scrolling you do every day. He's not gonna limit the amount of food portion on your plate, right? It's not going to be an everyday action, but this is what we have to take control of in our lives. We have to take control of the things that are our responsibility. It's not like, oh, if I just go to church, or if I'm part of this group, or I just do my tithing, or I show up every Sunday, that I'm owed something and everything else should be on its way for me. I think this group is a little special in the way that we're all similar, and I think we understand what it takes to do stuff on our own. You know, everybody's either owned their own business or done their own thing in this talk here. So I think you understand what it takes, sometimes more than most, that just show up to a job every day, check out, go home. The actual responsibility it takes to chase something that you really want, a dream, an idea, a business. You have to become everything. Things that when you decide you want to do it, when I decided I wanted to build a company that I never thought of, or I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait to do all those things too. You know, I can't wait to do the paperwork and the taxes and the accounting and clean the shitter. And like, I was like writing all those my dreams. That wasn't my dream column. It was like, when I found out what the dream took, I had to take control of the shitty side of the column as well. And we turn to that a lot. We turn away from that a lot. Like it's not I don't want to do that. Or I don't want to get up in the morning and work out. I want to go for a run. I don't want to quit drinking or smoking. I don't want to do what it takes to get to the side that I want, right? Like I don't want to do the stuff in the middle. Why can't I just have it? So knowing that he has control of this whole big picture, but he's not always taking control. You know, if that was the case again, you know, why did my parents die? You know, why are people obese? Why is people get sick, or we lose people earlier? Why all these things? You know, I mean, you think if there was control in it all the time, that again, life would just be like this. We wouldn't be any different. We wouldn't be different. We would attract each other. We'd be on the same exact moving line, and boring. But it's natural for the human brain to do three negatives. We talked about this before. You go through three negatives in your brain before positive. It's happening like this. Everybody does it. It's in your brain. You don't watch it happening, but it's a protective mechanism in your brain that allows us to live and not do things too crazy or stupid that's going to harm ourselves. So we have that going on. So we're already programmed to start off like, what's the bad, right? Well, we can project that into our lives too. When we start to look at every situation and we start to look at, well, what's wrong with me? Why not? Because I didn't get that job. Or what's wrong with me? Because that relationship didn't last. You know, what's wrong with me? It's always like this internal, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Instead of looking at the big side of like, doing wrong is part of being right. You know, again, I always brought this up at work about the analogy of like when the toilet's clogged or shit in there or something. We don't have a janitor. Like I do that. I'm not like, hey, great. Can somebody go clog the shitter again? Can't wait to wake up in the morning and go to work and make sure I start my day, clean some turd out of the toilet. You know what I mean? But that if I don't do it, then what? Another turd piles on top of that, and then another turd on top of that, because nobody else is going to do it. It's not their toilet. It's my toilet. So it's not that we have to take control of our life in all aspects, not just towards the good stuff either. You have to take control of things that pop up in front of you that seem bad, that seem shitty. You know, no pun intended. The shit is going to flow. Everybody does it. Everybody poops, including women. I don't want to hear that crap. Everybody poops and they poop.
I don't poop. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Speaking of, it's been pretty flowy.
Girls don't poop or fart. When you're in Mexico, you should be able to help. Just drink some water. But it doesn't.
It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good.
Okay. But look,
I do clean up after myself. So yes, take control.
Yes.
And also clean up your mess.
Exactly. Taking control is the good and the bad. Taking control is stepping up when it is bad, right? That's taking full control of your life. It's not making a decision that I want to get this job, so I'm gonna start doing this better. No, it's being realistic and understanding that everything that we want in this world, or everything that we don't want. You know, not everybody's an ambitious dreamer. Some people just want to live their life in peace and be happy, but that takes also the same amount of control. You have to have control of the good and the bad, be able to see the bad come and go, you know what? I'm going to take that on too, because it's part of this big thing. It's part of the picture. It's not all gravy train all the way to the top of whatever your dream is. You know, when it comes to, you know, I was somebody like in the past where if I was in a relationship or a serious relationship that I got out, I took it very I took it very internally. Like it was like it's all on me, all on me. Like what did I do wrong? Like what, instead of really looking at, well, what if I find the woman one day that's supposed to be my woman? Then I'll know that all those were for that, right? If I have hindsight, like we can look into the future, we can look backwards and say, well, great that that happened, right? Because if it didn't, I wouldn't be standing in front of this person right here. You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard for us to like paint that out because it's not happening. We're not seeing it in real time. But when it's happened, when it happens real time, you're like, you're kind of a little embarrassed sometimes by, you know, what was back there and how you even felt. So I think just being, we always talk about being more aware in any moment, any given moment, right? Being hyper aware of taking control of your own life, the good and the bad. Taking responsibility comes with control, right? And in that responsibility, taking your part without crushing your soul. Like you don't have to crush yourself when things go wrong. Things have to go wrong to go right. Again, if there was no wrong, we wouldn't have to have a word called right. You know what I'm saying? Like up and down. Like if there's not one, the other one, then we wouldn't have
Yin and
yin
yang.
and yang, right? Yeah. Without
The
the other, there is not the other. There's not that cool shirts that were made in the posters. Like that's not even a thing. You know, if there's no yin, there's no yang. So we got to get out. I think collectively, you know, when I say we, I don't always say like our group, but like collectively is just all of us, our communities have to get out of the mindset of, you know, the only one directional, the up or the yang or the, you know, whatever it is. And just accept that there's both. That's what equals peace. Right? Those both, the balance, the combination of the two equal the peace that you're looking for. Right? And then things start to show up, things that weren't probably on your dream list, because your dream list usually, what I call it a dream list, is a little irrational. And they don't call it a dream list because it's only in your dreams you can't get it. It's because a little irrational. Some of it, a lot of it could be totally achievable. Sometimes on those lists we write is a lot of bullshit. The impossible. It's like part of the dream where like everything's going fine, and all of a sudden you're on a mushroom floating over thinking like, what just happened there? Like the dream was real, then it was completely fake. That's life. So we have to be real about what we're putting on our expectation list. I thought another funny, very funny thing he said was like, he was talking about, you know, about God not, he doesn't control how much we eat. He doesn't control how much we exercise or how much we consume in news, or he's in control, but he doesn't take control like that. And he was talking about, you've ever been on Facebook or Instagram, or whatever the one that now it'll say you're all caught up. Like that's an embarrassing moment. If you're on enough where the system tells you, yo, bro, you're all caught up, take a fucking breather. Like that's a good message. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, I do need to take some control here. I need to take some control of my time. What is it worth? And in that is taking control of our mind, right? So you have to take control of your mind and allow yourself to take time, but not in business, right? There's nothing wrong with any of this stuff. There's nothing wrong with social media. Social media is not ruining the world. There's just access to data is not ruining us. We're ruining us. So we're not taking any control. We're not taking responsibility of taking control of our own lives. It's very easy to be like, oh, social media, or, you know, it takes up all my time. Well, who takes up all your time? You choose. That's control. That's taking control of your life. It's taking control and making time for the things that are important, the things that are in acts of service. So if, you know, you want to break when you get home and you want to unwind as part of it, like a show or these things, that's the freedom we have, right? But doesn't mean we have to like sit there and wallow and binge 10 hours of something or watch like 10 seasons in a night. Like it doesn't have to be in excess like that, because it'll get you off track of your goal and your vision, in your alignment. So I thought taking control is, you know, one, I think super relevant right now. I feel like we're still we're still at the end of this, not the end, sorry, beginning of this new version of our world that we see and live in today. And that's not going anywhere. This is not going to be over. Like what happened during this sickness or pandemic is forever changed the world we're going to live in. Things have changed and they won't go back. I think Lori's on here. Lori worked in a bank she still at the bank, but worked there forever, and they had a huge office in Buffalo, and everybody's there. Well, now they're not. They've been remote this whole time, and now the company's deciding to maybe we should keep everybody remote forever. They're looking at different financial benefits to this and how keeping people on or here money. So everything's going to change. Like the world is changing that we live in, and we have to be ready for what's coming at us at all times so that we can take control of our own lives and not sit here and well, because of this is happening. It's very easy to get wrapped up in a person that you don't recognize in the mirror when the people around you are doing the same things that aren't supporting what your growth is. The people that are around you are a direct reflection. We mirror each other. We talked about, we act like each other. We do that good and bad. You can find yourself in a group of bad people in a hurry and just look at yourself and think, who am I? But we've also been around those good people. We feel really good, energized, look at you feeling good, and you're doing things differently, and you're not even questioning it. All of a sudden you're in a running group at 5 a.m. in the morning. Like, who am I? Because you're with these new people and they're doing it. It's not even a question of like, do I want to anymore? It's like, I like being around these people. That's what we do. So there, a lot of my mentors are always saying, always keep checking that circle. Always keep checking your circle all the time. Friendships can be forever, lifelong friendships, but it doesn't mean that those people need to constantly be real tight to you forever. So
Estoy en una junta.
we got to watch the circles we're in, keep on checking them, and take full control and responsibility of the life we're living in. And like I said, that is also the shit, right? You're the plumber. So anybody want to share anything on this topic? Maybe a good thing to share, anything maybe it's happened in your life recently, or some changes that you're taking control over.
Anybody?
I'll just say that in learning how to be a grown-ass woman now in my 40s, after trying to like actively be my own resistance to the entire world for most of my life, I wish that we had more insight as children into, what other people think is none of our business, and doesn't matter how much you love somebody, that doesn't mean they love you. There's so many simple things that we have pined over and have, controlled our thoughts and our feelings and our actions and how we felt about ourselves and the questioning and moves we make and all these things and whatnot. And, at this point, for me, it's so much easier that I've learned to accept. And I wish I could give that gift to the world so often, because I feel like, wanting to control is fear, really, because we're not in control, right? God gave us this beautiful gift with everything being bliss. And, he said there's going to be snakes and serpents and weird distractions constantly, but it's going to be our free will choice, what road we stay on and what road we choose. And so, for me, it's not so much, it's like I try to change the words up because I felt like a control freak for so long in my life that I thought that was a good thing, being a control freak. Like that means I'm going to be in control of everything that happens to me. Therefore I can protect myself or the people I love. And now I'm kind of like changing the words up, like instead of control, like manifest, or, not contriving, not manipulating, not necessarily thinking I'm in control, but trusting in the control of the universe, a little bit more in those ways. And then, I have control of my rudder. Is that what it's called? The thing that makes the boat go in directions? Is that a rudder?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the only thing I have control over, I think, in my life is more just the steering. It's like I'm in the river that God gave us, and there's snakes and there's, beautiful papaya trees, and I just have to kind of control my rudder as far as, where I want to go, and trying to, eliminate the stagnation and things like that. But I don't know, that's what was coming up for me.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, it's a good point to say that, you don't want to control. We're not talking about control to isolation, because that happens. You can get in that control freak zone of isolating yourself and that it being worse for you. Isolation is, it's not human. Singular is not human. We're put on this earth to be in groups and villages and connect and be near each other and feel each other, understand each other. So yeah, I'm glad you brought it up that way, because you can get in a situation where you're trying to control everything that's out of your hands.
And you're just drowning.
And
Like,
the plan's not up to us. I just mean, like, look, if you want something, you want to be in better shape, or you want to eat better, or you quit drinking, and like, for me, when I quit drinking, it was a trick. I had to look out for the triggers. It wasn't like, I've never been addicted to anything where I like wanted it, I craved it, ever. I've had no problem with that ever. I've never like craved a drink. It was more of a social trigger, and then it turned into a release from long work weeks, like work. That was the thing I did, so I could like literally just not think about it, and then get back to work, and then go do it again. So when I quit, it became I have to recognize the triggers before they get me there. So I had to ask different questions about myself. So when I say let's ask different questions, better questions, you'll find that real answer why you've stalled on certain things, why we stall, why it took us so long. Amber and I, we talked about your book forever, right? It was like forever. Like, you had that thing almost pretty much written in so much forever. It was just like, what is it to go, right? And the more we ask more questions, the timing, and we listen to ourselves and the answers we get, we start to realize that we do have full control of the start button. We're shooting the gun at the line. I think so often we're waiting for the gun to be shot for us to go, but that's not what God does, right? That's not what anybody does. Nobody's going to show up and, all right, start. It's not a race in school. It's start when you start. You got the gun in your hand. You're going to shoot it, and then you're going to go. You're ready when you're ready. So if we take control in that situation, I think we can do anything all the time. And if you get freaking 10 yards in front of you and you freaking trip over your shoe, fall on your face, well, it's going to heal. And then you're going to decide to yourself, do I want to run anymore? It's going to be a freaking astounding yes, because I want it better. Or, you know what? That wasn't for me. I could barely step on my 2 feet for 2 freaking seconds. Over here, I'm going to try something else. That, I think, what I learned when I just left my business was I was so stuck on the fact that what would I do without it? That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been chasing. That was what I was. What am I going to do? And now, fast forward a year, that's ridiculous to hear me say it. Why not anything? Anything is the answer. Anything. Anything I want at any time. Because I have control of my life. And I don't take judgment on. So I don't feel pressure from anybody or anything to make a different decision, because I've taken control of my life. So I think if we could take control in a healthy way, and then to Amber's point, not get into the situation where you're trying to control the outcome of your life all the time, because that could be isolating and really shut you off to the world and people. If we can just stay in control of our choices every day, what we want, and then let the plan play out.
And continuing that witness, like Portia and I were just having a conversation. She's in another group now with some awesome people and learning all these leadership skills and stuff, and doing her own YouTube page and all this. But one of the cool things that we always are all talking about is having witness, so that we are held accountable to the things that we do say we want and need. And so that we, the people that love us the most are going to ask us next time they see us, hey, did you do that thing? Or how's the book going? Or how's the web page going? Or how's the business going? Or whatever it is. And so by checking our circle, we can, hold ourselves, each other accountable without judgment in a way that is continuing to push us forward and, help us to create action, which is awesome.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Did you want to speak on that, Portia?
Yeah, I think that's totally important. What comes up for me is that I think how you do one thing in life is how you do everything, right? So if you're showing up shitty in one area of your life, you're probably showing up shitty in another area of your life, no matter what you're telling yourself. And you're going to be the person it's easy to lie to yourself about that kind of stuff, right? And so I think you can't be committed to change in one area of your life if you're not committed. Like, you can't just be in one area and be like, oh, I'm just going to commit to change here, but not commit everywhere, because it just doesn't work that way. It's like you have to fully commit 100% for the true change to take place and for it to actually have any lasting benefit, right? And for it to go somewhere. And so, like you said, it's the questions, right? Asking yourself, you have to get curious. What's the story behind, like, why do you choose to show up that way? Why do you choose to show up for that way for yourself and like be that way in the world? And so, like, why do you choose to be who you are? And like really getting deep on that question, because there's always something holding us back, and we always know what's holding us back. There's always that belief. There's something deep rooted inside of us that we carried and collected a long time ago that we know it's always triggering us and it's coming up, and it's something that, it's that noise in our head, right? And, it's that underlining belief, like it could be like unworthiness, right? And so that could sound something in your mind like, I do not matter, therefore no one will care if I showed up fully and gave 100%, right? And so I think that when you're causing that racket in your mind, that's also another thing of like the fear, right? And it could just be like fear of even being you being fully seen and heard for the highest potential that you could be. So like if you were to step into your highest potential and like imagine if you were fully committed to yourself and fully committed to being this transformational being, right? Like all eyes would be on you, right? You'd be this amazing magnetic human, and people would be like, I want what he or she's having, because you would just be in life and you just be flowing in that life. And so when you're living in that full potential, that's like the whole spotlight. But I think like what's holding people back to showing up for that fully commitment, they well, one, like the unworthiness, but two, like if they were to actually get what they wanted, like for most people, it's so foreign and it's so unknown and it's like scary now. So like then if you're presented with actually what you really wanted in this life, like what would that even look like, right? And it goes back to that belief, like, so who, like if you feel you're not worthy and deserving of it, then what am I going to do if it really does show up, right? And so then it's like this vicious cycle. You can't get what you want if you don't feel deep down fully that you even deserve and are worthy of what you even want. So it's
and that also breaks down our shelters, like the shelters we build around us that make us feel the illusion of safety, whether it's where we live or who we hang out with or who we're dating or who we're whatever. Then if we do something extraordinary, if we do something that changes that, well, then that would change everything. And what would that mean? And would the people I love still love me, or would anything I ever did before that matter? Or would it matter even more? And all the things. It's crazy.
Those are all stories, right? Those are just all stories that your mind is telling. And that's a struggle for you to hold you back. That's what holds everybody back, are just these stories in their minds. And then they never reach their full potential. They never step into their highest purpose, because they just have these stories that keep running in their mind, telling them that they're not good enough. They're judging themselves. They're not worthy. It's all the racket that's there. And if you were to show up and you actually let that go, and you just like, you have to feel it to heal it, right? And you actually believed in yourself, like your life would start looking a whole lot different. It wouldn't be in the struggle anymore. Like you would be living in that bliss of like your 3D reality would ultimately be of the love, peace, joy, happiness. And you would be more radiant. Like you would just be that person that would be showing up. And yeah, okay, there's things where you're going to go like ebbs and flows of life, but it's not going to be like this heartache anymore, or you're not going to have these deep wallow feelings of like, it's just not going to come up anymore, because you're truly going to believe, one, what you're passionate about and what you're doing, but you're going to get over that mind and the matter, right? And you're going to get over, like, when you can rewrite those beliefs that were deeply rooted in you, and you can just know that they were just a story in the first place, you're not going to keep the story over and over again.
Yeah, and that's the point of not, don't have a backup plan. You don't want something to fall back on. You want to fall forward. You want to
Right.
new adventure, new living, unrecognizable people, unrecognizable things that aren't normal to your life. When you stay in your norm, or like Amber said earlier, we're scared of the security we have might change if we become this new person. What if we become this new person and these people don't like it? What if the people around me don't support me? What if my parents don't support it? My best friends are not supporting it. What does that mean? So instead of looking outward for the new, we're always doing this a little bit, like, what's my past gonna think, or what's the people to my right and left gonna feel? Is it gonna change the dynamic of who I am today? And the answer is fuck yes. It should. Hell yes, in every way. Like, anything you do and step out, you should feel scared and nervous and tingling in your heart. You should feel that maybe everybody will leave you. Maybe everybody they won't tell you that you're good enough and that you can't do that. And you know why? Because it wasn't given to them. That was not instilled in their heart. It was instilled in yours, and it's your opportunity and your responsibility to take it and move with it. But you got to move forward. You can't have a backup plan. There's nothing behind you that can be redone. It's all in front of you. We got to lean into it and make sure that we're not living in the fear of what will it do in a negative sense, right? Well, how about what if it just changed everything in such an amazing way? It changed your entire life outlook, the people around you. It just had this massive effect. What if that happened? Why are we not talking about the what if, the greatness? What if I did do it? What if tomorrow I walked out the door, I championed this thing, I became the best person this planet Earth's ever seen in this thing. I helped everybody loved me. And why aren't we telling those stories to ourselves? We're telling the stories of the fear. And the fear will consume us if we don't take control of the stories, like Portia was saying. You got to take control of your stories. What are you telling yourself every day? What you tell yourself is what you believe. What you tell yourself, it's going to happen. Self-talk works. It's not bullshit. It works. If you're saying the things, you will stay in that space. So why not say better things? Why not make up new stories? Why not create stories, right? Like, Portia and I have talked about this when we were in Arizona, and we've been talking about it. She's working on a project now too. It's like, all we got to do is do, right? And then we can look at it. You know what? Maybe greatness happened, or maybe nothing happened. The world kept rotating and nothing happened. And all that fear about it was nothing. And maybe we don't do anything with it. But if the more you keep on taking the chance and starting on a line and going, even if it's not this uber success, at least you're getting the practice of going. You're getting the practice of starting. You're getting the practice to take control of your life and then witnessing what's going to happen to it. So got to take full responsibility and control of it and stop telling us that narrative, right? Change our narrative, change our story about who we think we aren't, and start talking about who we are. Better questions. Stop giving yourself the bullshit answers about who you think you aren't, and ask better questions to yourself. Figure yourself out, ask better questions, and answer better. Self-love is believing in loving yourself.
And like also like really, really, really aligning with that soul piece. Like our soul is infinite light. Like there's nothing that could ever be negatively attached to our soul. It's so perfect, and we'll never ever truly know that until we're reunited again with God and whatnot. But our ego is so strong that even the things that we think would be great or whatever are the things we fear the most. Like when I was writing the book and stuff, apparently 300 people don't give a crap about anything I've ever done, because I was terrified to share that with the world. And all my own stuff, like walking around in this little silent, cocoon of my own fear. And it's like, and
Well,
next,
look,
Caesar, I mean, Genghis Khan raped and killed billions. I barely hardly did anything, but I was still so worried about, like, what will the world think if they heard my stupid story? And,
conspiracy against ourselves.
so do something that the soul says to do, not the ego, right?
Right. And Amber, imagine if you had kept that story inside of you and you never shared it with anybody, right?
Right. I'd be dying of cancer right now. Exactly. I mean, it's all this internalizing crap with our ego. It's all our ego. I mean, we're so important, but we're not that important at all. It's like,
amen.
It's,
Yourself.
Yeah.
Next thing.
You know what else I think too, though?
We got to stay in line with the soul's purpose and not the ego's. Yeah. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely. Like going back to, like you were saying, like, why don't we talk about what we can do? All of the people that you look up to and that you admire and everything that they've done, that's all inside of you. There's nothing special about them that they got to create that. They were lucky. You know what I'm saying? They weren't blessed in any way.
We're all born human.
And they are us, and we are us, and we are each other. Exactly. It's all mirrors. It is the law of attraction in real life.
Yeah.